Welcome to the D.
How long were you on the job when you hired Chryst? And when did you first hear about him, and why did you hire him?
Wow. I was on the job about 4 months. We made a coaching transition towards the end of the football season, in the middle of the football season, with about 3 games to go. I ended up hiring him at the end of the season, obviously. You know, Eastern Michigan is a place that every hire you make, you're looking for different things in the head coach, and depending on your program and where you're set. And the reality was, I felt that Eastern Michigan needed somebody who knew how to be a head coach and had done it and built it somewhere, wherever it had been. But the reality was, I mean, to have to learn to become a head coach and really turn a program was going to be too challenging. I mean, it's just challenging in general, but if you have to learn to be a head coach, so he's a guy that had been a head coach for 17 years when I hired him, never had a losing season in 17 years, won multiple championships at small places, right? You know, and never had an aspiration to be on a stage like this, and is not in it for that reason. And you know, just a incredible leader, transformative leader. He's done things at Eastern Michigan that I don't know that anyone has been able to do or sustain, and he's done it in a really first-class way.
Heather, how would you assess this football season, given the early highs, the UCF win, and then kind of the way the regular season ended?
Yeah, you know, I would say that it was a disappointing ending to the season. A lot of positives to take from it. You know, I think we started, you know, even the Virginia game, you know, when you have a new offensive coordinator, I don't feel like we were in our groove right out of the gate. I think if we played Virginia later in the season, we could have performed much better. But the reality was, you know, there's a lot of bright spots. There's a lot of guys returning. There's a lot of opportunity moving forward. And, you know, the continuity of the coaching staff is critical. And we've made that a very important focus and priority. And we're really thrilled to have our coaching staff back. And then obviously to get some players back that were injured early in the season or in the preseason. Kenny's coming. We had a lot of potential. You know, I think there's a tremendous opportunity next season. The schedule tees up pretty well, and we're excited for what's to come next year as well.
It's probably past, but I mean, do you expect any staff change at all throughout the football staff?
You know, you never know. I mean, we're still in bowl season, so I don't anticipate it. And I feel that Coach Narduzzi really values his coaching staff, and they are a great unit and have come together very strong. And so we're going to do what we can to keep our coaches.
How important do you feel like continuity can be when it comes to trying to build a program up, where from the head coach and even those assistant coaches? I mean, is that a key factor for you?
It's significant, yeah. I mean, if you look at any tremendous programs that have been able to sustain and build and sustain some level of success, you know, our goal is not, you know, to make Pitt a destination place where you can go win ACC championships and compete for national championships across the board. So you win with people, and we start there. And so we're going to keep who we believe in and can help take this program. And so, you know, if they go on and become head coaches, that's sort of a different story. But we want to keep them here for the jobs that they're doing. And you know, Coach Narduzzi values all of them and the input and the impact that they've had. And so do I.
At the start of the school year, there was that report that said, you know, Pitt's athletic program was ranked towards the bottom. But then you had the soccer program make the tournament, volleyball nationally ranked. I mean, how pleased were you with overall for the sports?
You know, I think it's absolutely headed in the right direction. You know, I wouldn't say, you know, we haven't turned it and it hasn't, you know, transformed, but it's turning and transforming in a really positive way. You know, last year, even our women's soccer team, they lose by 5 goals. You know, this year it was a 1-goal match, and, you know, they're this far. Next year they'll be in the tournament. Men's soccer, you know, they lost to the reigning national champions in the tournament. And obviously women's volleyball is poised to do really great things, having our starting setter coming back. And, you know, there's a number of key things headed in the right direction. So really pleased.
Can you talk a little bit about the conversations you had with the bowl reps and with the ACC leading up to getting the bid for this game?
You know, those conversations are, you have conversations all the time with your contacts in the bowl. I have great respect and great relationships with all those people. It's very much, I wouldn't say it's out of your hands, but it's not as if anyone doesn't want Pitt. And so that was, very, promising in many ways. Everyone said, hey, we love to have Pitt. We're going to have to see how things shake out. And you just don't have a lot of natural control of it. It's very television driven. It's very conference office driven, and bowl driven. So.
How do you think the first season of the ACC Network, first football season?
I thought it went extremely well. Obviously, the coverage that all of our teams are getting, the behind the scenes, the stories that are being told. I think our fans appreciated it. Obviously, we have Comcast still holding out, and that's a key turning point for us, and eventually we'll get there with Comcast. I have a lot of confidence in the ESPN and our conference office to get that deal done. But everyone who saw it, and I've had friends. Just the other day, I got a text from one of our donors who said, I'm done. My kids came home for the holidays, and they got us changed on our cable company. We had Comcast, and I'm done with them. So if they're not going to carry it, they want the ACC Network. So I think people who had it appreciated it.
Do you expect that deal to get done before the next football season?
The timing is tricky. It's really sort of outside of our control, but they're pushing to try to get it done before next football season.
It's obviously been early, but what's the response been to the changes done at the Pitt for this basketball season so far?
I don't know what you all think. I hope the new media section is all right. I think we've had really nice positive comments about it. I'm very pleased with the scoreboard, with the court, the way our donors are situated, allowing, most importantly, the zoo to be seen on national television and for people to really see what it's like to play in the Pitt. I think is awesome, and I know Coach Capel and our staff really appreciate the loyalty of our fans and the changes that have happened. It's a major investment and a major improvement into the game day atmosphere. So I'm pleased with it and excited. We'll continue. We always have to invest in football and basketball, and those are critical pieces to the operation of our department.
And with the team itself, what are the expectations going into the ACC season with basketball?
Well, we're going to be better than we were last year, I'll tell you that. And it is a young team, and they're still figuring a lot of things out. It's going to. I don't think anyone's going to take us lightly, and that's the reality. I think sometimes people in the past, hey, this is a win, and I don't think you can do that. This team does not give up. They're tough, and they might not be as big as some of the other ACC teams, but they're tough and talented. And Coach Capel's going to have them prepared, and his staff is very connected, and I think this team has some real potential.
And maybe one or two more. Heather, you got a next stop here on your tour.
Given the mood, given how things ended, the football season.
Yes.
What's the mood of the donors and the boosters at this point?
Well, I think that they have been. Pittsburgh people I find to be incredibly loyal, and I know they can be critical, but by and large, I'd say Pittsburgh people are loyal. They care deeply about Pitt, and they're very invested in our vision and making this happen. And so I think they believe that we have the right people and the right people in place, and they're committed to being here. We just saw an entire room full of Pitt alumni downstairs, and they're pretty fired up and very excited about where we're headed.
Quick one, anyone else?
I know you haven't been here for his entire tenure, but 5 years now in the book, really, with Pat.
Yeah.
How pleased are you with his? That's kind of like a milestone at this point with head coaches. How pleased are you with his progress?
I think he continues to become a better head coach every year. I think we've got a lot to do in the off season to evaluate, just everything in the program, which we do every year. I don't think this year's any different in that way. But I think there's a tremendous amount of talent coming back and a real opportunity to make an impact next season and, finish some games, eliminate some penalties, do some things that, I think we were all disappointed in many ways, and him included. No one takes it harder than him. No one expects more than him. And so, but I've got a lot of confidence in him and his staff and keeping the continuity of that staff together. They're very, very good. I don't. I know it's well over 1,000 that are out. I would say that it was interesting to learn about the ticket sales. We have an allotment, obviously. The Bowl has an allotment. Eastern Michigan has an allotment, the stadium, and there's some pretty good deals out there. The secondary market as well, and so I know a lot of our fans did not necessarily buy from our allotment. Those who did probably paid a little bit more just because of how it was structured. So we're really grateful for that. But I think it'll be a good showing. We're excited about tonight. Let's go get the win.